from the Mercy One studio. Making It Personal with Bishop William Joensen on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.
Good morning. This is Bishop William Joensen of the Diocese of Des Moines. You're Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. My normal sidekick and trusty aide de camp, Kelly Mesher-Collins, is away for a couple days here, and so we'll try to go solo this morning. Hope the ratings don't tank today without Kelly here. And dispelling any rumors, Kelly did not get into too much green beer on St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday. I want to just set the record straight on that. And I'll have to wait to consult her to see what her impression of the T.J. Osselberger hire at Iowa State men's basketball coach. So we'll postpone that. But congratulations to the Drake Bulldogs, who are still dancing, their men's basketball team. A stellar victory yesterday against the Wichita State Shockers. Tough game all the way, and they hung in there and prevailed. So congratulations to Coach Darian DeVries and the Bulldogs, who will keep dancing for another game here, at least, if not more. Today on St. Joseph's Day, we remember the installation of Pope Francis back in 2013. And so we continue to pray for our Holy Father, that he images the Heavenly Father, but also the fatherhood of Joseph in this year of St. Joseph. And for our Spirit Catholic Radio listeners in Nebraska, particularly the Diocese of Grand Island, congratulations and another anniversary of Bishop Joseph Hannafeld on his patronal feast day, his ordination and installation back in 2015. So, great shepherd, great human being. He offered some very encouraging words to me and continues to do so every time I'm privileged to interact with him. And so a great model of a human being who's a man of communion in so many ways. Looking forward on this great feast day of St. Joseph to being with the people at St. Joseph's of Winterset this afternoon. We're going to be doing a 3 p.m. solemn mass today, and the people of Winterset will join us, and it'll also be live streamed on our diocesan website. So that's the opportunity to partake remotely with us and to be in solidarity as we continue to ask intercession of Joseph for the Universal Church and upon the Diocese of Des Moines. Also kind of looking forward to, and by the way, because the solemnity, we relaxed the discipline of abstinence on Fridays during Lent, so you can be cooking up those St. Joseph sliders today if you're watching the tournament or anything else today, but continuing, of course, to focus our hearts and sights on Jesus, who leads us to Jerusalem and beyond. St. Joseph, so many of our faithful in the diocese have a great devotion. Shout out today to Alma and Myron Brewer. Alma and Myron, great folks at Corpus Christi and Council Bluffs. Their great devotion to St. Joseph, and we're grateful that Myron's health eye issues have had a good resolution to this point, and so may God continue to allow you to see him by faith, as St. Joseph did, very close in your love for each other and those who surround you in your parish and beyond. We continue to look to the weekend. I finally get a chance now, as vaccinations and COVID things begin to lift a little bit, to finally get out and be with the people of the diocese whom I'm waiting. I remember the good folks from St. Joseph's Villisca who came to my ordination, the women who were quite lively and everything else. Well, I finally get to go to St. Clair Clarinda, St. Joseph Villisca, and Sacred Heart in Bedford this weekend to be with the pastor, Father Eze Venantius Umunakwe, and to celebrate masses with those good people there. No other special occasion. There's no confirmation. There's no installation of pastor. Just to pray together and to celebrate and be with each other. What a great grace that is. Our Holy Father also asks us to combine our regard for the family, the joy of love. And so this is also the year when the kind of coinciding Joseph and of all families, Amoris Laetitia, the joy of love. And so that kicks off today. And we're conscious of the challenges that all families face, and how we need to support each other and continue to seek God's healing, but to be lifted up as well. And so I think the sense of God's intention in forming the family, perhaps in our closing segment after we visit in our next piece with Maureen Kenney, Director of Development for the Diocese of Des Moines, to talk about the annual Diocesan Appeal and the many ministries it supports. We can talk about some of the developments perhaps in the Universal Church, thinking about what's going on in German and the German Church, and also then how the Vatican responded to some questions that were there. So it's a great Friday. We're pressing even further into approaching the season of spring, and I think we're all ready for it in this year. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll return to welcome Maureen Kenney, Director of Development for the Diocese of Des Moines.
Thank you, Big Red Q Quick Print, for underwriting the sports report. Family owned and operated since 1980, Big Red Q Quick Print is a full-service print shop ready to help you with all your printing needs with speed and accuracy. Forms, manuals, brochures, letterhead, envelopes, business cards, custom invitations, design, and bindery. Big Red Q Quick Print, located across from Merle Hay Mall. Online at bigredq-desmoines.com. Big Red Q Quick Print. We make printing easy.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Dowling Catholic Sports is provided in part by Ashworth Vision Clinic. With 2 licensed optometrists, Barbara Sheets, a Dowling graduate, and Dr. Craig Harper, the Ashworth Vision Clinic team provides complete eye exams, contact lenses, glasses, glaucoma testing, and pre- and post-operative care. Ashworth Vision Clinic is located at 60th and Ashworth in West Des Moines. 515-440-4610 or online, ashworthvision.com.
We're back. This is Bishop William Joensen. We didn't have to ask what the bishop is thinking. That'd be kind of like, being John Malkovich, trying to probe my own mind here. But that we won't go into that rabbit hole. But we're here with Maureen Kenney, the Diocese of Des Moines Director of Development. Maureen, before we get into some of the facets of the annual diocesan appeal, was your husband Vince among the brass group that was leading pep rallying cheers for the Bulldogs yesterday? I saw. The local KCI was showing them at the gathered there. Was he part of that group?
Yeah, yep, Bishop, he was. He's a big Bulldogs fan, as you can imagine. He leads the drag bands there, especially the athletic bands. So they had a non-ordinary gathering for sure, because bands aren't typically allowed in the arenas these days, but they were able to celebrate via live stream and in Sheslow Auditorium there. So go Bulldogs. We're looking forward to Saturday.
Good. Maureen, we've been in more than a few Zoom meetings together over the past year, and I think that it's only going to continue to be magnified. But I kind of amuse sometimes, as you say, there's a tuba practicing in the background when you're coming from your house. So he gives, your husband Vince gives lessons at home, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. He has a studio, and he's on campus quite a bit, but then we also have some private students that he teaches in the evenings. So, yes, I have surround sound, tuba, and euphonium, but I am quick to remember not everyone has that and have to let them know and share in the fact that he might be in the background on occasion.
Well, brass music, how can you go wrong, as a kind of a wannabe trumpet player at times, but no, very good. And Maureen, I've appreciated our collaboration on lots of levels. First and foremost is that you're a great woman of faith. You have great devotion to the Eucharist and your sense of your own marital vocation. But that kind of makes its way known, and how you express communications and things on behalf of the diocese. So I think that that this is a spirit-led endeavor, and here we are again, this whirlwind of a year, and all of a sudden, last year, as things were just kicking off in the annual diocesan appeal, we were shutting down our public masses and everything else. Mm-hmm. So much more a glimmer of hope and a quickening of step as the annual diocesan appeal kicks off again here in recent weeks. So again, we just give us a kind of a framework what the diocesan appeal is all about, and what are the accents this year?
Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity, Bishop. And I would be remiss not to mention first and foremost that we are on the Iowa Catholic Radio airwaves, and they are also listener supported. So we are thankful to them for allowing us to talk about yet another fundraising opportunity on their very own airwaves. And we know that they are also an apostolate of the Catholic Church. But moving on to the annual diocesan appeal, it is a major fundraising effort that happens annually throughout our 23 county diocese, with all parishes participating. And when I say all parishes participating, that means that each of our 80 parishes is responsible for a chunk of that overall ADA goal. And together, through our support, we support our parishes and help them meet their goals and help ensure the Church's mission of serving the people of God in Southwest Iowa can continue. And the annual campaign happens roughly between March and December of every year. So kickoff weekend was a couple weekends ago, March 6th and 7th, but we are continuing on with that appeal if you haven't made your gift yet through December of 2021.
Yeah, and in distinction to some other dioceses that actually have a taxa that is assessed to the parishes, this is really enlisting and appealing to people's better angels and trying to help them to take on partnership and kind of buy into the mission on many levels, spiritually and material as well. What the overall kind of maybe sense that people might be wondering? Well, still there's people facing some tough challenges and things in the middle of the pandemic, which we're hopefully passing over, but we know, the recent stimulus possibilities from the government and everything else. So what is the diocese doing that shows the impact of COVID on our faith community?
Yeah, that's a good question, and my short answer to the question is why the heck are we raising money in a pandemic? Is in short that there's no mission without the money, and we continue to ask for support as long as the mission of the Catholic Church remains relevant. And as you know well, Bishop, the pandemic has only heightened the relevancy of the Catholic Church, just in sheer understanding of the fact that the pastors and hospital chaplains were alongside folks who were suffering with COVID victims in the hospital to the extent that they were given access. And not only that, our faith formation programs, our Catholic schools almost turned around overnight to offer remote learning opportunities, and in a way that could ensure the safety of all of our teachers, our students, and administrators. So I'm really proud of the way that the Catholic Church has responded in the pandemic. But at the same time, we recognize that the pandemic has not been easy on anyone, and our parishes have suffered some reduced revenue. Across the board, tithing is down roughly 5% since the beginning of the pandemic, and the diocese has taken steps to stand in solidarity and recognition of what our parishes and what our faithful are experiencing. So we took several steps in 2020 with recognition of that difficulty. So across the board in 2020, we reduced the annual diocesan appeal parish goals by 5%, and also have provided some more targeted reduction of parish goals if a parish was experiencing especially an additional burden because of the pandemic. And then the diocese
and I thought that was a particularly beautiful gesture of partnership that we have. We didn't just there was a degree to which every parish shared in that, and thanks to the good stewardship of the pastoral center staff and what we were about trying to be wise stewards through the year with and to try and reduce expenses and things, and we're very successful on that level. Even as people's generosity, only to go down 5% is remarkable, and God's blessings on the people of God, because that shows, their priorities in so many ways. But then, some parishes are hit harder for various reasons, sociological and otherwise, and so to really be able to stand with those who are most in need, as St. Paul would enjoin us to do. So, and I think that was a beautiful shining witness that the diocese was able to do. And when we speak of the diocese, we're talking about us as a people throughout Southwest Iowa. So, but I interrupt you. There is a very attractive video that you kind of coordinated, Maureen, that kind of captures some of the accent points, and I really encourage people to look at the diocesan website. It's about 4 or 5 minutes, very, very professionally done. I don't know about the guy who appears at the end, with the pectoral cross or anything, even despite that, it actually, I think, speaks and touches our hearts and motivates us to continue to look beyond our own particular needs and to look at how we might continue to bring Jesus to others and announce the gospel in the ways that the church has given witness, whether in education or formation as well. There are 4 impact areas that you've highlighted, I think. Could you maybe elaborate at least about some of those areas? And I think you're kind of tracking that way, but I just ask you to amplify, please.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, we have 4 impact areas of the ADA, and those overall include encountering Christ, shepherding the faithful, supporting our local communities of faith, and helping people in need. So starting with encountering Christ, those are ministries that bring the good news of Jesus Christ to all. And this, under the umbrella of Encountering Christ, includes support for our Catholic schools, diocesan, young adult, youth, Hispanic, and disability ministries, marriage and family life, and efforts to support our parish catechetical leaders. You mentioned the ADA video, Bishop, and in that video is featured a woman named Catherine Swoboda, who's a volunteer catechist at St. Ambrose Cathedral, and she's such a force, such an inspiration. I get chills every time I listen to her.
Just when
speak.
I'm with her, I just draw from her spirit energy. She's something, and really a catalyst of communion at the Cathedral Parish and beyond. But please continue.
Yeah, but during the height of the pandemic, when we were sorting how we were going to continue faith formation programs in a pandemic, she and the director of evangelization and catechesis at the diocese, John Gaffney, kind of picked each other's brains and just helped each other understand the unique needs of St. Ambrose Cathedral. They're a unique parish. It's a fluid parish. It's mainly a refugee community, and the refugees are largely part of the working class, and they have various shifts throughout the day, all hours of the day, second, third shift, and, whatever family time they have together, they want to spend together. So in recognition of that, they started a family faith formation program on Sunday evenings where they can remain together. They can mitigate COVID because they're within their family unit together in person, but they can all learn their faith as one unit together as well. So I think that was a great brainstorm on their part.
And I was privileged to be with them at the end of February and kind of talk about the Lenten disciplines of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. So had an insider's view of that. And again, it's a beautiful thing, respecting the local church, which is the family, but then within the parish of St. Ambrose. And Catherine, she's a woman. I don't know where she finds the energy. I mean, she's also an Iowa State faculty member, but a member of Cathedral Parish. So, yeah. Please continue. Mm-hmm. And our prayers go out to particularly the Sudanese community within the parish, larger parish family, who were touched by a tragic death of one of their own and drowning accident a couple days ago in the Des Moines River. So we lift them up as we stand with each other in moments of joy and also moments where the cross is heavy. So we always looking to the grace of Christ. Mm-hmm.
Keep them in my prayers. Yes. The second area of impact for the annual diocesan appeal is shepherding the faithful, and this includes supporting our faith leaders by way of clergy care and continuing education. We know our pastors would like to receive certificates, whether it's at Creighton or Steubenville or, receive continuing education at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. I think Father Remy actually just finished his Ph.D., if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed, he did. Talking
Amazing.
about grief groups among widows and others in his native Igbo tribe. So a beautiful pastoral moment there. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah, so including continuing education, we also have diaconate formation, healthcare premiums for active and retired priests, support for our vocations office and our seminarians, support for the priest pension fund and our current and past bishops. And not many people know, Bishop, but you are human, so you need a roof and you need a place to park your car. So we do provide you with that support through the annual
Indeed,
diocesan
and
appeal.
Bishop Emeriti Sharon and Pates are also appreciative as well. We didn't kick them out onto the street there, so very good. And then just thinking about the genuine people in need, helping people in need, and so obviously there's the clergy support on many levels, but helping people in general. How does this kind of radiate outward in that way?
Yeah, exactly. So we work on encountering Christ, and I like how we kind of organize these impact areas because I think that's how our faith kind of corresponds in that we have this encounter with Christ, and then he calls us to prayer, deeper conversion through the sacraments, and then he asks us to share the faith with others. So we're trying to reach beyond those peripheries, as I know Pope Francis likes to describe them as. But we are another major impact area of the ADA is helping people in need and opening the door for people to receive Christ's mercy. This includes our direct support of the program through Catholic Charities, disaster relief coordination and hospital chaplaincy as well. If I could carry this on through a story, we, at the beginning of the pandemic, launched a COVID-19 relief fund that provided relief to individuals and families who were suffering the most from the pandemic. And a woman came forward with a request from the fund, and she has 5 children between the ages of 16 and 15 months and was struggling after losing her job at a local restaurant, and her husband had been deported to Mexico at this point as well. So, even with the federal support that she had, she was still just trying to make ends meet. So the COVID-19 relief fund came in and offered her some support in paying a portion of her monthly rent. So it's a great tangible way in which we take the services provided through the annual diocesan appeal and launch them outward to help people like this woman and her family in their time of need.
Beautiful example. And these are people with whom we're in the pews on Sunday and able to be with them, and now we can be for them in a special way. And the ADA is one of those tangible means. We've got about 40 seconds before our break, Maureen. Maybe if you'll stick around with us. But how can people give to the ADA? How does the rubber hit the road here?
Yeah, they can give online, dmdiocese.org. via mailed gift. If they received a letter from you, Bishop, they can return that to their parish or directly to the diocese. And every gift matters. No gift is too small.
Indeed. Sometimes I get these white envelopes with no return address, and it's kind of a mystery when I open it up, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to pass that on to you, Maureen, and the support that people are turning forth so richly. So we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Making It Personal with yours truly, Bishop Joensen, on the Iowa Catholic Radio and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Catholic Women Now provided in part by Marr Security, providing security solutions for homes and businesses since 1953. Marr Security is a Catholic-owned family business supplying security systems, access control systems, video surveillance, fire alarm systems, and video doorbells. All alarm systems are monitored out of their monitoring center located in the state of Iowa. Marr Security, 515-244-5660, permarsecurity.com.
Thank you, Dental Associates, for underwriting Dowling Catholic Sports 365. With over 40 years' experience, Dental Associates is a group dental practice with the mission of promoting optimum health and well-being to all patients, providing preventative, restorative, and cosmetic dentistry for the entire family. Message underwritten by Dr. Kenton Gleichman, Dr. Steve Karbaka, and Dr. Ben Nagel. Dental Associates, addressing your smile, needs, and dreams. Online at DesMoines-DentalAssociates.com.
I'm Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen, Maureen Kenney, Director of Development at the Diocese of Des Moines, and one who has brass music playing almost 24/7 in her mind and in her soul. Saint Cecilia.
Whether I like it or not.
Saint Cecilia's got nothing on you, right? So I don't know if there's music. Is there music ministry or counseling ministry that goes on, if Catholic Charities has that opportunity for people for teletherapy or something like that for couples. So we'll have to check with Barbara Decker and Scott Caldwell with Catholic Charities. So now another wrinkle here, and as alerted in the Catholic Mirror, that's just hit the newsstand this week or at your doorstep. The diocese, and this has been a point of great discernment, a long time in gestation, but plans to launch a capital campaign in parishes over the course of the next 2 years. And so we got two things going on here? Are these parallel universes, or how can we make sense of the annual diocesan appeal on the one hand and a capital campaign, and where is more forthcoming about the capital campaign?
Right. Yeah. So the annual diocesan appeal are those annual needs of the diocese to maintain those operational and ministry efforts to serve the faithful in Southwest Iowa. So we're fortunate to have the ADA infuse 64% of the need to help carry out our mission. But then outside of that 64%, we do rely on other funding sources, and a large funding source is the endowments that we have that are held at the Catholic Foundation of Southwest Iowa, and those have been built up over the years through efforts like capital campaigns. So capital campaigns are efforts to invest funds in the mission of the Catholic Church that are over and above annual needs. And I'd like to describe it as a shot in the arm almost. You know, we're trying to really push forward the mission of the Catholic Church. An example of this in the last campaign that we had, Sharing God's Gifts, was that, Hispanic ministry was fairly new, and we knew it was a priority of the Catholic Church, but we needed additional funding to carry out that ministry, and the capital campaign afforded us that opportunity. But as you mentioned, this is a new campaign, and we're really excited to further invest in our seminarians and priest retirement through it, faith formation, and the building up of a Catholic education endowment. So great things, I think, are ahead.
And how much ingredient to forming faithful disciples in the church, our parochial education. And again, we certainly have great regard for the students in public schools and the faith formation that's being delivered. So kind of englobing that, but to seeing this as a kind of seamless way in which we are doing what Jesus charges us to do, and to bring the faith to fruition in the hearts and minds of our young people, but then also young adults and people of every generation. We never should stop growing in our faith. They say, yeah, I've been there, done that, got that all figured out. How our ongoing call to conversion, not just simply in Lent, but our call to deeper communion with each other, and how the great wisdom of our elders, as Pope Francis speaks about. St. Joseph, certainly, one whom we would look to, and one who gives us this sense. And kind of as he echoes, kind of thinking about St. Joseph, and if I could tuck in here, Maureen, if you'll indulge me here, that we think God works only through our better parts, yet most of his plans are realized and despite our frailty. And I think, at every season of life, but particularly maybe as our as we face the latter season of life, to believe this. So that unless we're reconciled to our own history, we'll be unable to take a single step forward, for always remain hostage to unrealized expectations or the disappointments that might have followed. So God wanting to heal us and bring us peace for what maybe didn't come to meet our own hopes for our lives, not looking for shortcuts, but confronting reality with open eyes and the personal responsibility for it. So the difficulties that brings out how God's grace, as for Joseph, Mary, Jesus, and the power of the cross. So we're so blessed by the intercession of St. Joseph as a protector of the Church. We ask his intercession for the Diocese of Des Moines in a particular way as we now embark on another annual diocesan appeal, and with it then a capital campaign about which we'll be saying more as we come forward. Maureen, so good to be with you again, and thank you for all you do as you invest your soul and spirit to serve the people of Southwest Iowa. You've been listening to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen on Iowa Catholic Radio and Spirit Radio Network.
Bishop William Joensen every week on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.